Okay, Christine, tell us about the shenanigans that are happening over at that table.
Okay, unfortunately, the Ron Paul National Campaign over here set up a table, told us that we could use it to put our flyers on it. We talked with Matt Holdridge for a 2-hour conference, and we let him know that we're not comfortable voting for people that we know are not going to vote for Ron Paul at National. And we also told him we're not comfortable voting for people who we don't know at all. And then he said, okay, we let him know that because CD5 is the largest CD, we have the largest conservative voters in El Paso. We wanted to take control of this because we know the people. We know who will definitely vote for Ron Paul, and we wanted to do it the principled way.
Yeah.
Matt understood that and said, okay, you guys go with your stuff and I'll let National know. Well, apparently, what he let National know is not to tell us anything that's going on. He allowed us to sink hundreds of dollars, each of us personally.
Yeah, on a lot of stuff.
Into campaigning. This is our slate that we put together. We all spent hours at meetings. We all spent hours talking to other delegates. We spent hours talking on the phone. We spent hours meeting and greeting people and developing a flyer and slate and, this slate. But then now we're being told by National that what they want to do is they want us all to throw our votes away to people who are unpledged. I don't know if any of them at all are Ron Paul supporters. I'm assuming maybe not any of them are Ron Paul
I don't even know
supporters.
who's sitting there at that table.
Yeah, and then
I don't know the what makes them official because we created this slate for weeks. This is the slate that's been going on for weeks.
And we actually elected in El Paso, the Ron Paul campaign in El Paso County, elected these 6 people, of course I'm there too, to run for this campaign, to be a Ron Paul delegate and a Ron Paul alternate. So that way we know there's no way any of us is going to change our votes. We're all declared, we're not covert, we want to do it the principled way.
And every person here is either an unpledged delegate or Santorum supporter, and that's who they're saying is the unity card. Flip that.
And yet, here we go. Now, I could be misquoting, and I hope I'm not. I did talk to Kent Lambert. He's a friend of ours. I really do like him a lot. He's a Santorum supporter. I talked to him after Santorum dropped out of the race or froze his campaign. And Kent indicated that he is not a Ron Paul supporter at all. He told me he does not believe in Ron Paul's foreign policy, and he cannot go along with Ron Paul's economics. So I'm not quite sure what is left after that. So apparently this is what National wants us to vote for. Someone who's not going to vote for Ron Paul.
Yeah, apparently, and we have no idea who those people at that table are. We know each other.
Yeah, and then another Ron Paul delegate just came up, and she's from the same county as this other man, Graham. She recognized his name. She said, yeah, I know him. He's not a Ron Paul supporter. He hates Ron Paul. So now I'm wondering, the one unpledged person on here, also a non-Ron Paul supporter, they know there's nobody on this slate from CD5, from their national office, who's going to vote Ron Paul at national. So we're really discouraged about that. We feel like we've been shot in the back. And I would ask, though, that Ron Paul people at CD5 will vote for Ron Paul people. I hope that we've all learned well from you, Mr. Paul, that we're going to do it the principled way. We're not going undercover. We're not going to lie to anybody. If someone wants to vote for us because we represent you, then God bless them and we'll take their vote. If they don't want to vote for us because they hate your foreign affairs and they hate your economic policies and they put you down, that is their choice, and we're all right with that. But we're not going to discriminate. We're not going to hate. We're not going to be deceiving. We're not running stealth. But you know what?
Yeah, like a last-minute thing that no one knows the veracity of, being passed out 1 hour before our CD meets. You know, I know these people, and these are the people that I'm voting for.
Okay. Well, God bless you guys, and go Ron Paul. Constitution. Please vote for the Constitutional Conservative Republicans of Christine Collins.
Hello, I'm Michael Clifton from El Paso County, and in the run-up to this assembly, I found other delegates in a true grassroots movement that I really support, and I don't want you to vote for me, I want you to vote for the constitutional slate. I want you all to remember the day that you saw someone do this. This was heinous. I'm a voter registration drive organizer. This is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in politics. Okay, guys, explain these.
I don't know if we really can.
That one.
This right here, when arriving today at 5th Congressional District Assembly here in Denver, Colorado, this is what we were given as the Unity Conservative Slate. The names that we have here for Congressional District 5,
Which is our district.
General Gareth Graham, Robin Coran, and Senator Ken Lambert.
And
Now,
if you look
not necessarily a surprise,
at what they're pledged, you've got one unpledged,
and 2 Santorum supporters.
2 Santorum supporters.
Now, there's a discrepancy with this. And the discrepancy seems to come from somewhere within our own camp. And by our own camp, I mean the Ron Paul camp.
Even though this is on there too.
By consensus, this is the slate that we had agreed upon. This is the slate that we had been informed about. This was the slate that we actually did vote for. However, there's a discrepancy between this slate and the slate that Matt Holdridge seemed to put out. That, in all fairness, really seems to kind of be pandering to the Santorum camp, being that it's 2 Santorum supporters and 1 unpledged. And
The whole thing is Santorum supporters
it's
and
all
unpledged.
unpledged and Santorum supporters.
The entire thing.
The whole thing. All from the Congressional
So one
District
has to
1
wonder
6.
why. You know, we've seen a lot of videos over the past couple of weeks asking what is going on with Jesse Benton. Does he really have Liberty's best interest in mind? And does he have Dr. Paul's best interest in mind? And, you know, at this moment, you know, I'm wondering, is this just, it's like with the Federal Reserve, is this incompetence or is this malfeasance? And once again, while it's legally not malfeasance, like morally, it definitely leaves me kind of scratching my head a little bit and a little bit disenfranchised and discouraged by perhaps Matt Holdridge and some of the other people driving the top of the camp there. These people right here, I know stand for liberty. These people here, I like Robin. She's a nice lady, but she's a Santorum supporter. Santorum, I don't necessarily feel stands for liberty in the way that I define it. And it's really interesting to me that this is what the camps came up with.
Can you explain why the Ron Paul table was passing out a slate with only Santorum supporters on it?
The only thing that I can think about is that with a lot of the districts here, like for instance, with District 5, I can see it making sense because Colorado Springs is so heavy with the evangelical Christian vote, and the evangelical Christian vote was somehow tricked or persuaded to vote for Rick Santorum, who is a Catholic. God bless him, but that is what he is. And generally, they don't tend to cross those lines, except for when James Dobson support him. So maybe perhaps this is pandering to the evangelicals, which God bless them. Like I want them to vote Ron Paul. They should be voting for Ron Paul. We had 2 Catholics, a Mormon, and then a Baptist, and for some reason, everybody ignores the Baptist, who actually, granted, maybe he doesn't wear it on his sleeve, but he acts in a very Christian way. And so perhaps this was an opportunity to perhaps try to get Santorum people to maybe come over to the Paul camp, but all that did was disenfranchise 6 strong people, dilute the vote. These are 6 strong people here, like that. Honestly, I want to have represent me in Florida, and good old Joe and good old Charlie got voted as alternates. Now, granted, they still made it as alternates, and that was out of a lot of people, and they're running against the big names. But I'll be frank, this right here does not leave the best taste in my mouth, and I am a little bit upset.
But these right here are very tasty.
These are tasty people. This was a tastefully done flyer, and they spent a lot of money on this.
Yeah.
Charlie came out of pocket on his own for this, because he cares about liberty that much. I'm sorry, dude, like...
That's
I'm
even
not saying
got
the same
spelling
thing.
mistakes on it, and has a sentence that it doesn't even complete it on it.
Yeah, it's right here. If you agree, the Ron Paul and Rick Santorum campaigns hope you'll vote for our blank.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. When it comes to professionalism, which is the direction to go with? I didn't even notice that before because
Yeah,
I just threw it
I
on the
can't
ground.
even say that that's
This
even
right
an
here
official slate.
looks like sabotage. Like even if this was done with the best of intentions, the way that it was delivered, like it illustrates and it could lead one to believe that that Matt Holdridge does not have the campaign like in best interest at heart. This is a load of what we'll call meadow muffins. This is meadow muffin right here. This right here is liberty. That's what I stand for.